the soldier who would not deny his faith. The story of Hamid Pourmand. In the heart of Iran, under the long shadow of authoritarian power and religious conservatism, lived a man named Hamid Pourmand, a husband, father, decorated army officer, and follower of Jesus. By all outward appearances, Hamid was the ideal citizen. He served for more than 20 years as a colonel in the Iranian army. Loyal, intelligent, and committed, he had climbed the ranks through merit. But beneath the surface, he carried a truth that, if revealed, could cost him everything. Hamid had converted to Christianity from Islam years before. In Iran, that choice is not simply personal, it's considered criminal, especially for someone in public service. Yet Hamid didn't hide his faith from those close to him. He was active in the small but vibrant house church movement in Iran. Every week he met with other believers in homes, behind closed curtains, away from watching eyes. He taught the Bible, mentored new converts, and shared the gospel quietly but boldly. His two lives, soldier and believer, coexisted in fragile harmony until September 2004. That month, during a national church conference, the secret police raided the gathering. They arrested Hamid along with about 85 other Christians. Most were released, but Hamid was held. The reason? He was not just a believer, he was a Christian in uniform. Iranian military law prohibits non-Muslims from holding command positions in the army. But for years, Hamid's faith had been known to his superiors. They turned a blind eye until political pressure changed everything. While in custody, Hamid was interrogated relentlessly. Authorities demanded he renounce his faith. They promised him freedom if he would recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. One sentence could erase the charges, but Hamid refused. "I cannot lie about who I am," he reportedly told them. His defiance wasn't loud or angry. It was peaceful, steady, unbreakable. He was eventually tried in a military court behind closed doors. Despite decades of faithful service, he was dishonorably discharged, stripped of his rank and pension, and sentenced to 3 years in prison. He was also charged with deceiving the military about his religious beliefs, despite having never hidden them. For Hamid, the punishment was crushing. His family lost their home, military housing they were forced to vacate within 24 hours of his arrest. His wife Arlet and their 2 sons had nowhere to go. They were suddenly vulnerable, watched by security agents, threatened and socially isolated. Inside prison, Hamid was moved from facility to facility, some notorious for abuse. Yet even in those dark cells, he found purpose. He prayed, he encouraged others. He shared Christ in whispers, in letters, in quiet conversations with fellow inmates. The guards tried to silence him, but they couldn't break him. Months later, Hamid faced a second trial, this time in a Sharia court, for apostasy, a charge that could carry the death penalty. The courtroom was filled with tension as the judge prepared to sentence him. But something unexpected happened. The court found that Hamid had become a Christian before joining the military. In other words, they argued he didn't convert while in uniform, but was already a Christian when he enlisted. That technicality saved his life. The court dropped the apostasy charge and the death sentence was avoided. Still, Hamid remained imprisoned for nearly 3 years. When he was finally released, the world outside had changed. He had lost his career, his home, and the security of anonymity. But what he had not lost was his faith. Hamid later said, "They could take away everything, but not Jesus." His courage inspired thousands of Christians around the world. Churches prayed for him, wrote letters, and shared his story. Though relatively unknown in global politics, Hamid became a symbol of quiet, unshakable faith in the face of persecution. Eventually, he and his family fled Iran and were granted asylum abroad. In freedom, Hamid continued to share his testimony, not with bitterness, but with a humble heart full of gratitude. He often reminded others that the cost of following Jesus in places like Iran is real, but so is the reward. In prison, he once said, "I was not alone. Jesus was with me every day. And because of that, I had peace the world could never give." Hamid Pourmand's story reminds us that faith is not always easy, and freedom is not always guaranteed. But even when stripped of titles, rights, and comforts, the soul anchored in Christ remains unshaken. He never lifted a weapon in his defense, yet he fought one of the fiercest spiritual battles imaginable and came out victorious.